The woman forced herself to keep moving every day. She spun the hula hoop again and again, and even when sweat soaked through her clothes, she refused to stop, because the moment she stopped, she would think of the test result that had completely broken her. She was pregnant, but she had no idea who the child's biological father was. But the baby inside her was far more resilient than expected. 10 months later, she gave birth to a pair of boy-girl twins. In the blink of an eye, 6 years passed. The 6-year-old brother and sister were selling roasted sweet potatoes at a roadside stall. A company CEO happened to see them while visiting the countryside for an inspection. The two children immediately caught his attention, because they looked almost exactly like him when he was young. Before he could figure out what was going on, his grandfather back in the city called to pressure him about getting married. On the phone, his grandfather roared at the CEO, asking where his great-grandchildren were. He even declared that if the CEO did not bring a granddaughter-in-law and great-grandchildren home by Christmas this year, he could come back and collect his body. The CEO hung up the phone with a helpless look on his face. His assistant beside him was worried too, wondering where they were supposed to magically produce great-grandchildren out of thin air. Just then, the CEO looked toward the brother and sister selling sweet potatoes not far away, and a bold idea suddenly popped into his mind. He walked straight up to their stall and opened his mouth by saying he wanted to buy all of their roasted sweet potatoes. The siblings were especially enthusiastic and kept telling him to try one first. The CEO took a bite and immediately praised it as the most delicious thing on earth. The little girl was delighted to hear that. She even gave him the fresh flowers she had just bought and said, "Thank you for supporting our business, sir. I hope you get more handsome every day." The CEO smiled and thanked her, then accepted the flowers. The girl could not help sighing that this uncle was so nice, and that it would be wonderful if he were her father. When the CEO heard those words, he took the opportunity to make an outrageous request to the children's mother. He hoped the woman would pretend to be his girlfriend and bring the two children with her. After hearing this, the assistant's eyes widened. He said outright that the CEO must be crazy to come up with such a terrible idea. The CEO quickly explained to the woman that it was only to deal with his elders for Christmas. To show his sincerity, he offered her $300,000 for 1 month. The woman froze on the spot when she heard that number. The boy asked her whether, with that money, their mom would not have to work so hard anymore. The girl also said that she could handle hardship, but she did not want her mom to suffer anymore. Looking at her two sensible children, the woman made up her mind. The children's tuition still had no solution. With this $300,000, at least their future would no longer be held back by money. So she immediately nodded and agreed to the CEO's request. Soon, the day came for them to meet the CEO's grandfather. The woman changed into a beautiful gown, and both children said their mother looked like a princess. But the woman was very uncomfortable walking in high heels and almost fell in front of the CEO. Embarrassed, she said she was not really used to wearing high heels. But the CEO looked at her softly and said, "I don't have that many rules." He said she and her two children had already been put through enough by having to play along with this act. If she was not used to wearing high heels, she did not have to wear them. Then he helped her change into a pair of flats. Looking at the gentle and considerate CEO in front of her, the woman could not help thinking that it would be nice if the children's biological father could be this thoughtful too. Before they set off, the CEO even rehearsed the lines with the two children seriously. He was a little worried that the two children would not want to call him dad. But before he could finish speaking, the two children rushed up and kissed him. The CEO burst out laughing at the children's enthusiasm. He told them to follow the plan later and not be afraid. If they performed well, he would reward them with $100,000. The two children immediately patted their chests and promised that they would